Hello, hello. My name is Ben. My pronouns are he, him, and his. Welcome to Deaf Pride 2020, virtual drag and deaf storytelling, presented by Eli Lilly. I wanted to thank, first of all, Indie Pride for hosting this event. And I want to give a special thanks to Eli Lilly, Greg's, Tito's Handmade Vodka, and Jack Daniels for helping host this event. I also want to give a big special thank you to Luna Language Services for providing interpreting services for this event. This is an opportunity for the deaf and hard of hearing LGBTQ communities. I wanted you to take a moment to like this live stream and share it with your friends, your families, and so that they can watch and participate in this event. I hope that you are as excited as I am. So post Happy Deaf Pride in the comment box. Happy Deaf Pride 2020. So make sure you write that back in the comments. This Deaf Pride is going to be a little different this year. It was a difficult decision because of COVID-19. But we hope that you're staying safe and well, wherever you are. And we look forward to celebrating together in person again soon, hopefully in 2021. This Deaf Pride 2020, we're going to embrace the powerful stories in ASL by members of our community. Erik, Folsom, and myself are going to share our personal stories about our experiences and lives. And it wouldn't be Deaf Pride without a party. So myself and Alizé Starchild are going to perform for you. So let's put our hands together, or put our hands up, or do a hands clapping icon, if there is such a thing. But first of all, we have Erik, Folsom, and he's going to share their story called Deaf Black Man Turned into a Drag Queen. So let's check it out. Erik Folsom. Hi, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Erik Folsom, and I'm 34 years old. I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I've spent my whole life here since I was born here. And I turned deaf when I was 3 years old. I didn't realize what it meant to be special, but God knew, because He made me a blessing. So the first question is, how did I become gay? Does that mean I was born gay? It's just what happened. And I don't know why. I've always liked men more than women. I remember when I was 10 years old, I went to McClelland Elementary School, and I started liking this Caucasian boy with black hair. His name is Tyler. He was my first crush, since we had grown up together in the same classrooms in elementary school. At Ben Davis High School, which is where I came out and I admitted that I was in love with him, and I couldn't believe I told him because I wrote it down in his yearbook. And Tyler didn't say anything at the time, but he knew what I said. So I was kind of embarrassed a little bit. And he kind of bullied me a little bit and started some gossip about me around Ben Davis High School. And people mostly thought that I was straight, and nobody really knew anything about my business. And so I had to move on with my life. I ended up leaving Ben Davis High School at the end of that school year, that summer. And that was the reason for it. After that, I went to the Indiana School for the Deaf, ISD, in Indianapolis in 2002. And that was the first time I'd ever been around deaf people who had grown up at the deaf school. But I thought at the time I would love it, but it didn't end up being a very good experience for me. I was judged, I was bullied. People had different opinions about, they wanted to know if I had a girlfriend, and I always told them, and I came out and told them that I was bisexual. And I just let everybody know who I was, no matter if they were interested in knowing that or not. I never had a boyfriend or a girlfriend in my life at that point, and I got into several fights with people for no particular reason. I eventually graduated in the class of 2004, and I was extremely happy with getting out of school. When I was 20 years old, I told my grandmother about myself. She's a very strong Christian, had strong Christian beliefs. I loved her very much, and there was a lot of issues because she didn't accept me as coming out as gay. So she said that, if I chose to be with a man or a woman, that was my choice and that I had to make that decision. She wasn't happy, but she respected that. My mom was angry. She wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't text or anything. And it was really scary. She was scared because she didn't want me to get sick with HIV or AIDS or anything. But I assured her that I knew that it was important to always use protection. The second question that I get asked is, how did I become a drag queen? Well, I was 21 the first time I did that. And I was with my first roommate living in Champaign, Illinois. I met him. He was hard of hearing, had a cochlear implant. We were ex-friends, ex-roommates. We had mutual friends, and we had talked about putting on a drag show. And so we went to the C Street Club in Champaign, and we had an idea. He gave me the name of Alizé, which is the name on an alcoholic bottle. Said that was a character that seemed like somebody who was always joyful and sweet and fun and exciting, but always had an attitude towards perverted guys who were just interested in sex, because I was always had a bad attitude towards men who didn't have respect for me. My personality is I'm very loyal to good people. So, we were the best team. We called ourselves Dream Starchild, and his name was Hypnotic. My drag name was Eliza, and everybody just loved us. Our performances were great. We worked hard. Our shows killed. Nobody knew that we were deaf, though. There was one night where we were separated from our group. The Dream Starchild was no more. So then we had a solo. So I did a solo for myself to see what I was able to do. And I made it very successful. And so I decided that because there was a lot of problems with manipulation and time and issues with my roommate, I just wanted to come back to Indianapolis because I missed my family that was back home, and I didn't have any family or anybody in Champaign. So when I left, I never went back to Illinois again. And I decided that I was much better, happier. It was just good here, and it was a better time. And I started to realize that There wasn't so much stress and overwhelming drama that made life worse than just being here. Later on, when I want things to be better, I just want things to be better than in my dark past. Um, I just don't like having problems with stupid people who aren't my friends. Um, I fought to have my own life, and it was very difficult time to get through all of that drama. Now I'm part of the LGBTQ community socially here in Indianapolis, and that's the most important thing for me. And I just want to say that you can be successful in any part of your life. I want to be a successful drag queen. Like I said, my name is Alizé Starchild, and I'm proud to be a deaf drag queen. I've learned how to put on my own makeup and fix my wigs and to sew my own dresses. And it's just what I love. I love being myself more than anything else. And I hope that you will be ready for me in the future, wherever I will be. Wow. Thank you, Erik, for your wonderful story. And now I'm going to share my story, and I hope you enjoy it. Hello, people. I hope everybody's enjoying their day. I wanted to share with you my story and my experiences with being part of the bear community. But let's skip my childbirth and schooling and childhood because I don't want to bore you to death with all that stuff. So let's start when I was in college because that's when I first identified as a bisexual. Well, actually, I did start identifying as a bisexual since high school. Um, just through my experiences, I never really felt that attracted to women. And that's when I really started to experience that in college. So I remember my first gay club was a place called The Connection. And this is how we signed it. And it's The Connection in Louisville, Kentucky. And there I was able to meet a lot of LGBT people, and that's what we used to call it, just LGBT. Now they've added more people to the group. Now we call it LGBTQ. But I was able to learn from friends until one day a friend invited me to a bar um, called called Triangles, and that was the first bear bar in 2005. Of course, I was nervous, and I know it's always a challenge to communicate, but I was thankful that several people there were able to sign. And so that was the first time I went to a bear event. And as you know, everybody knows the first time you do anything, you get nervous, right? So since 2005 till now, I've been involved with several bear groups, um, the Kodiak Bear Group, um, Midwest Bear Fest, North American Bear, and World Bear Weekend. I've also been a contestant in a few bear events, and I currently own the titles of Mr. 501 Bear, Mr. Midwest Bear Fest, and lastly, Mr. GemCity Bear. However, it's very challenging because of communication and deaf culture. It's not always easy to teach people because some people do want to learn, and some people are willing to learn, and some people don't. And some people just want to learn hateful words, which I don't want to say here. But I have been able to meet a lot of interpreters who identify as bears or cubs or daddies or pups. So I realized that the number one issue between the deaf and the hearing communities is the communication barrier. Because we deaf people can't speak, we communicate through sign language. We have to use other methods to communicate, like writing on paper with pen, or body language and gesturing, grab our phone and text, just different ways of being able to communicate. I was working at the time with the Kentuckian Pride Foundation, or the KPF for short. And it wasn't easy to communicate my ideas, and I just felt like I couldn't move forward. So I ended up moving here to Indianapolis. I was invited up here by a friend named Travis, who then introduced me to a group called Indie Pride. And I was finally able to be open to not just the bear community, but also the LGBTQ community too. And I've been able to share and communicate my experiences and talk about, just different things that we do. In conclusion, it took me a few years to finally fully open up to the LGBTQ and the bear communities. My bear community has given me the identity that I have, because I identify as bear and a cub. Some people call me a bear, and some people call me a cub. So I take both identities. And so if you want to learn sign language, or you want to learn more about deaf culture, the deaf community, feel free to ask. I won't bite, unless you want me to. And I hope that you enjoy my experiences that I was able to share. And make sure you get out there and vote and fight for our equal rights for all of us. I love you guys. Thank you again for sharing your stories. I hope you enjoyed each story that we were able to share about our lives, about being deaf, part of deaf culture, part of the LGBTQ community. Deaf Pride is about the deaf and hard of hearing communities working together and understanding and appreciating the intersectionality and the allies that we have. thank you for coming together for this event. Thank you again, Eli Lilly, for supporting this event, Indie Pride as our host. And also, I want to thank Greg's for allowing us to record our live stream here. But right now, I need you to do me a small favor. I want you to open up another tab on your web browser and go to www.indiepride.com. No, org. I'm sorry. It's .org, not .com. /live. Where you can see our epic deaf program hosted by myself and Alizé Starchild. So go do that now. I'll wait. I'll be there in about 30 seconds. So again, it's indiepride.org /live. And I will post the link in the comments section. And so you can click on that, and I will see you in about 15 seconds.